The champagne flute shattered against the polished oak floor like a gunshot in the hush of the banquet hall, shards scattering under the feet of stunned teammates frozen mid-laugh. "Gold digger!" Coach Harlan bellowed from the head table, his face twisted in fury as he jabbed a meaty finger at me, the words slicing through the air thicker than the scent of prime rib and betrayal. I stood there, heart hammering against my ribs, the room spinning into a kaleidoscope of accusing stares, until a voice, low, steady, and impossibly familiar, cut through the chaos. "Enough. He's worth more than all of you combined." That voice belonged to Ethan Caldwell, the golden boy of the Michigan Wolverines, heir to a steel empire that could buy the whole damn stadium twice over. We'd been dancing around each other for months in stolen glances across the locker room. Notes slipped into gym bags like forbidden love letters, but no one knew. No one was supposed to know. Not until that night, when the whispers I'd ignored turned into a roar, and Ethan's secret shattered like that glass, irrevocably, beautifully, and without mercy. I remember the first time I saw Ethan, really saw him, not as the untouchable quarterback everyone worshipped, but as the guy who looked like he carried the weight of 1,000 unspoken storms in his ocean blue eyes. It was freshman orientation at the University of Michigan, late August, the air thick with that Midwestern humidity that clings to your skin like regret. An arbor buzzed with new faces, kids from Cali beaches and Jersey suburbs, all pretending they weren't scared shitless of what college would demand. I was there on a partial ride, scraping by on scholarships and a part-time gig slinging pizzas at Domino's. My beat-up Ford Focus parked crooked in the lot like it knew it didn't belong. Me? I'm Jax Rivera, from a nowhere town in West Texas where football gods ruled and dreams died under the relentless sun. Dad was a roughneck on the oil rigs, gone more than home. Mom waitress doubles at the diner to keep the lights on. I learned early to fight for every yard on the field and off. Gay in a place where faggot was just punctuation? Yeah, that meant lockers slammed on fingers and accidental tackles that left bruises blooming like accusations. So I buried it deep, channeled it into spiral-perfect passes and sprints that left defenders choking on dust. Michigan was my escape, my shot at proving I was more than the kid who'd cry in the truck after proms he skipped. Orientation was a blur of icebreakers and forced cheers, but Ethan stood out like a beacon in that sea of khaki shorts and flip-flops. 6'2", broad shoulders from years of farm boy chores back in his family's lakeside estate upstate, blonde hair that caught the sun like wheat fields at harvest. He wasn't flashy. No Rolex flashing under the fluorescent lights. No daddy's credit card swiped for the latest kicks. Just quiet confidence, the kind that makes you lean in. When he shook my hand during team intros, his grip lingered a beat too long, calluses rough against my palm, and something electric zipped up my spine. "Jax, right? Saw your high school highlights. You're gonna tear it up?" he said, voice like gravel wrapped in velvet, eyes locking on mine with an intensity that made my throat dry. I mumbled something dumb about hoping to make the cut, but inside, I was reeling. Ethan Caldwell, the guy whose face grinned from billboards for his old man's foundation, the prodigy who'd led his high school to state with a perfect season. What the hell was he doing noticing a scrawny backup like me? That night, as I crashed in my dorm bunk, the ceiling fan whirring like a judgmental ant, I replayed that handshake on loop. It was nothing, I told myself, just bro stuff. But deep down, in the quiet where truths hide, I knew it was the start of something that could upend everything. Weeks blurred into fall camp, sweat-soaked drills under Coach Harlan's whistle-sharp bark, the field turning to mud under cleats pounding out frustrations. I clawed my way to second-string wide receiver, earning nods from vets who tested me with late-night beer runs and hazing that skirted too close to cruelty. Ethan was the sun around which we all orbited, captain, playmaker, the one who could thread a needle with a football from 50 yards. Off-field, he was different, organizing study groups in the athletic center, slipping extra Gatorades to the walk-ons like me when no one was looking. "Fuel up, Rivera," he'd say with that half-smile, tossing me a bottle that I'd catch like it was a Hail Mary. Our first real talk came after a brutal scrimmage, rain lashing the sidelines like God's own fury. I'd hauled in a deep post for a touchdown, only for some linebacker to lay me out cold. Woke up in the trainer's room, ice pack on my ribs, Ethan perched on the exam table's edge, worry etching lines around his mouth. You scared the shit out of us, man. Thought you were done for a sec. His knee brushed mine as he leaned in to check the bruise blooming purple under my jersey, and I swear the air crackled. I played it cool, cracking a joke about being too stubborn to stay down, but my pulse thrummed like a war drum. From there, it snowballed in the subtlest ways. Shared rides to practice in his old Jeep Wrangler, windows down, Springsteen blasting Born to Run, as we dissected plays and dodged small talk about home. He'd ask about Texas stars and my mom's tamales. I'd probe his stories of summer regattas on Lake Michigan. The way his laugh rumbled low when he talked about skipping fancy galas to fish with his little sister. No mentions of girls, no locker room boasts. Just us, building this unspoken rhythm. Then came the notes, scribbled on napkins from the training table. Nice grab today. Beers later? Or you're faster than you think. Believe it. I'd find them tucked in my locker, anonymous but unmistakable in that precise script. My secret admirer. I'd tease myself in the mirror, heart flipping like a bad snap. By October, the leaves were turning crimson along the Huron River, and the team was electric with Big Ten fever. We were 5-0 unbeaten, and Ethan was a machine, 300 yards a game, 0 picks. I was his go-to safety valve, racking up yards on slants and screens, the chemistry between us clicking like we'd been throwing since Pee Wee. Fans chanted Caldwell to Rivera from the stands, and in the huddle, his eyes would find mine, a flicker of something deeper than gridiron trust. One crisp Friday after lights-out curfew, we snuck out to the Arboretum, blankets spread under a canopy of maples shedding gold. Campus lights twinkled distant, like stars too shy to shine full. We'd smuggled a six-pack from the house, but it stayed unopened as we lay there, shoulders touching, talking about everything and nothing. You ever feel like you're playing a role? He asked, voice barely above the rustle of leaves. I turned, our faces inches apart, his breath warm against my cheek. All the time, I whispered. Like if I drop the mask, it'll all crumble. He didn't pull away. Instead, his fingers traced the seam of my hoodie, tentative, then sure. What if it doesn't? What if it's the best play you ever make? The kiss that followed was slow, exploratory, like testing a frozen pond's thickness before stepping out. Soft lips, tasting of mint and hesitation, his hand cupping my jaw as if I were fragile china. When we broke apart, foreheads pressed, he murmured, I've wanted this since orientation. You're not just a receiver, Jax. You're everything. That night unlocked us. Stolen moments in empty study rooms, his dorm when his roommate crashed elsewhere, fingers laced under cafeteria tables. It was pure, electric. Kisses that lingered like halftime pep talks, whispers of futures where we didn't hide. Ethan talked dreams beyond football. Law school to fight for workers like my dad, building something real from his family's legacy. I confessed fears of fading back to Texas obscurity, of loving him in a world that might not bend. We'll make it bend, he vowed, eyes fierce. We were careful, no pics, no posts, just us against the autumn chill. But secrets fester like untreated turf burns. Whispers started in the weight room. Rivera's always glued to Caldwell. What's his angle? I brushed it off as jealousy. Me, the scholarship kid, suddenly tight with the rich kid. Ethan laughed it away too, but tension crept in. His parents called more, probing about that focus in his voice, the way he dodged sorority mixers. Mine? A quick, proud of you, me Joe text from mom after a win, oblivious to the boy stealing my sleep. November brought the Ohio State game, our biggest rivalry, the horseshoe a cauldron of scarlet hate. We eked out a 24-21 win on my fingertip grab in the end zone, Ethan's pass arrow straight through double coverage. The locker room erupted, high fives, Gatorade showers, Coach Harlan thumping backs like drumbeats. Ethan pulled me into a bear hug amid the chaos. His "we did it" growled low in my ear, lips brushing my temple. No one noticed, or so I thought. Post-game buzz lingered into the team banquet 2 weeks later. The Crown Plaza in downtown Ann Arbor decked in maize and blue, chandeliers casting diamonds on tuxedoed boosters and wide-eyed recruits. I felt out of place in my rented suit. The one Mom sent money for, Ethan looking every inch the air in bespoke wool. His tie a slash of team colors. We'd arrived separate, as always, but his eyes tracked me across the room like a heat-seeking missile. Dinner was toasts and highlights reels. Laughter booming as Coach recounted fumbles turned fumbles. I sat with the underclassmen, nursing a soda, Ethan's table of seniors and alums a distant orbit. Then it shifted. Midway through dessert, cheesecake slabs sweating under forks. A booster, some oil tycoon with a comb-over and whiskey breath, leaned into the mic for impromptu remarks. To our stars. Caldwell, you're the future. Don't let hangers-on dim that shine. Chuckles rippled, uneasy. My gut twisted. He meant me? No way. But Coach Harlan, 3 scotches deep, seized the moment. Rising like a thunderhead, he boomed, Here! Here! And speaking of shine, watch your backs, boys. Not everyone's here for the game. His gaze pinned me venomous. Some chase rings. And wallets. The room gasped, then murmured. Teammates shifted, eyes darting. Gold digger! Someone hissed from the back. Tommy Reese, my supposed buddy, the fullback who'd crashed on my couch after breakups. Betrayal hit like a blindside blitz. I froze, fork clattering, heat flooding my face. What the hell? I choked out, but the whispers swelled. Knew it. Always mooching rides. Caldwell's too nice. Ethan's face drained of color across the tables, his napkin twisting in fists. I wanted to bolt, to vanish into the velvet drapes, but pride nailed me to the chair. This was it, the mask ripping free, exposing the lie we'd built. Then that voice. Ethan surged to his feet, chair scraping like nails on chalkboard. Enough! The hall fell silent, forks suspended. He strode through the tables, suit jacket flaring, eyes locked on Harlan. Jax Rivera isn't chasing anything. He's the reason we're undefeated, the heart of this team. And if anyone's digging for gold, it's the vultures who see dollar signs instead of sweat. Gasps echoed. He turned to me, voice softening to a blade's edge. He's mine. Has been since day one. Say it again, coach. And you're done with me too. The room imploded, shouts, clinking glass, a booster choking on tiramisu. Harlan sputtered, red-faced, but Ethan didn't flinch. He reached my side, hand extended, pulling me up into the storm. Walk with me, he murmured. And I did, legs wooden, the weight of 100 stairs burning my back. Outside, under the porte-cochere's awning, snow flurried soft against the street lamps, and Arbor's winter breath nipping at our heels. You didn't have to, I started, voice cracking, but he cupped my face, thumbs tracing jawlines wet with unshed tears. I did. For us. No more hiding, Jax. Not after that. His kiss was fierce, claiming, snowflakes melting on our lashes as horns blared distant on State Street. It wasn't pretty. Scandal would brew, scholarships threatened, families fracturing. But in that moment, it was ours. Raw, real, unbreakable. The fallout hit like a nor'easter off Lake Superior. By morning, campus forums exploded. Caldwell comes out with Rivera? Speculation swirled thicker than the fog rolling off the Huron. Coach Harlan called an emergency huddle, his office reeking of stale coffee and defeat. This complication, he growled, pacing behind his desk cluttered with playbooks and family photos. His own son, a vet, staring accusatory from a frame, distracts from the title run. Fix it or you're both benched. Ethan, jaw set like granite, shot back. Bench us and you lose your QB and WR1. This team's about heart, not headlines. I sat silent beside him, ribs still tender from that scrimmage weeks back, now aching anew with dread. Harlan's eyes narrowed on me. Rivera, your ride's always been shaky. Don't make me pull it. It was a threat wrapped in concern, the American way. Success conditional, love a luxury for the straight and solvent. We left as a unit, Ethan's arm slung casual over my shoulders in the hallway. A fuck you to the janitor who gawked. But cracks showed. Tommy cornered me in the laundry room that afternoon, jerseys tumbling in dryers like white noise for his venom. Dude, what the hell? You're screwing the team, for what, a Caldwell payout? We all saw you cozying up. His face twisted. Not just anger but hurt. Like I'd stolen his spot in the brotherhood. I trusted you, man. Now it's all this. It's love, Tommy, I said, voice steady despite the churn in my gut. Not a transaction. He snorted, backing away. Love? That's rich kid bullshit. You're from dirt, Jax. Don't forget it. The door slammed, leaving me amid the detergent haze, wondering if he was right. Was I the gold digger in my own story, chasing a fairy tale that smelled of privilege? Ethan felt it too, the rift widening like a defensive line. That night, in his off-campus apartment, cozy with leather couches and views of the diagram, we curled on the sectional, take-out tie cooling untouched. My folks are flying in tomorrow, he said, tracing circles on my knee. Dad's pissed. Says it's a phase that'll tank my draft stock. His laugh was bitter, eyes distant. Mom just cried on the phone. Thinks she failed me. I pulled him close, his head on my chest, heartbeat sinking to mine. We'll show him. Together. But doubt gnawed. My own call home loomed. Mom's voice already laced with worry from my evasive texts. Mijo, you sound different. Everything okay? How to explain? In Texas, love like ours was a punchline or a prayer unspoken. The next weeks were a gauntlet. Protests erupted outside the athletic building, signs waving, keep politics off the field, from conservative alums, countered by rainbow flags from student allies. Media swarmed, ESPN panels debating the gay Wolverine effect. My face plastered beside Ethan's like a scandal sheet. Sponsors pulled feelers. Ethan's family foundation waffled on donations. On field, it poisoned the huddle. Passes wobbled, blocks faltered. We lost to Penn State 31-14. The skid starting with a pick six off a throw meant for me. Ethan's glare at the sideline more plea than blame. Off-field, it deepened us. Late-night runs along the river, breaths fogging in December's bite, hands clasped defiant. He'd read me poetry from his lit class, Whitman's Calamus. Leaves of grass tangling our fingers. I'd cook herb chicken from Mom's recipe, us laughing over wine as snow piled the sill. You're my anchor, Jax, he'd say, vulnerability cracking his captain's armor. In a world that wants to capsize us. Betrayal struck hardest from within. Christmas break loomed, and Tommy, emboldened by booze at the holiday party, leaked texts. Not ours, thank God, but fabricated ones. Me begging Ethan for cash, promising discretion for perks. It spread like wildfire on group chats, teammates piling on with memes and shade. Gold confirmed. One captioned a photoshopped me with a pickaxe. Ethan confronted him in the lot post-practice, snow crunching under boots. Why, Reese? We were brothers. Tommy's shrug was a gut punch. Protecting the team, Cap. Can't have fairy dust on the Lombardi dreams. The word landed like a cheap shot. Ethan's fist clenching before he walked away, shoulders bowed. I found him later in the empty stadium, stands echoing his sobs. I thought we had this, he whispered as I wrapped him in my coat. That it was bigger than hate. It's not them, Ethan. It's fear. We sat there till numb, stars wheeling overhead, plotting our stand. New Year's in his family's cabin up north. Blizzard-bound, fireplace crackling, we vowed resilience. After the bowl game, he said, toasting with hot cocoa. We go public, full throttle, no more half measures. January thawed the ice but not the chill. Rose Bowl prep was hell. Harlan drilling us mercilessly, sidelining glances like barbs. I caught him muttering to ADs about distractions. My scholarship packet yellowing on his desk. Ethan shielded me, taking heat, but exhaustion etched us hollow. Then the call. Ethan's dad, steel magnate Caldwell Sr., summoning us to the estate. Time to end this charade. He boomed over speaker, voice like grinding gears. Son, rehab for your confusion. Rivera, a check to vanish quietly. Ethan's no was thunder. He's family now. Touch him, you lose me. Click. Silence stretched, then his collapse. tears hot on my neck. I can't lose you to this. I held him through the night, whispering of horizons beyond fortunes. Love as the only true inheritance. Bowl week in Pasadena dawned palm-fringed and surreal. The stadium a coliseum of dreams. We flew commercial, Ethan's choice, equals or nothing, and bunked team style, his hand finding mine under sheets in the dark. Game day, Oregon Ducks, high-flying offense mirroring our turmoil. Kickoff blurred into frenzy. Hits like hammer blows, turf burning lungs. I hauled in a 40-yard bomb for 6. Ethan's whoop lost in roar. But penalties mounted. Flags for questionable celebrations after our hugs. Fourth quarter, down 28-24, 2 minutes left. The play. Slant go, me streaking the seam. Ball floated perfect, but Tommy, shadowing coverage, jammed me early, helmet to ribs. Crack. Pain exploded, world tilting black. Woke to medics, Ethan's face ashen above. Stay with me, Jax. Carted off, I glimpsed the drive fizzle, interception. Ducks kneel. Hospital lights hummed sterile. Ribs fractured. Season shattered. Ethan burst in, gown askew, gripping rails. We almost had it. Tears tracked his cheeks. But you, God, if I'd thrown softer. I silenced him with a kiss, monitors beeping frantic. We did have it. Us. Recovery was a limbo of PT sessions and stares. Harlan visited once, gruff apology masked as team first. But the benching stuck. Red shirt for me, Ethan's arm slung protective. Spring semester brought hearings. Boosters howling for cuts, but student senate rallied, petitions flooding in. Ethan's coming out op-ed in the Michigan Daily went viral. Love isn't a penalty flag. Garnering support from alumni like Chris Clue, XNF Lur turned advocate. Betrayal's echo lingered in Tommy's expulsion. Leaks traced, his scholarship yanked. He cornered me outside chem lab, eyes hollow. I was wrong, Jax. Scared of what it meant for me. Bisexual, closeted, his confession a mirror to our fractures. Forgive. I nodded, handshake firm. Play straight, Reese. No more games. Summer scorched an arbor. Us subletting a riverside loft. Lazy days kayaking, nights debating futures. Ethan's draft buzz cooled. But scouts whispered character guy. Intrigue turning asset. My ribs mended, but scars etched deeper. Trust, once granite, now veined with caution. Fall senior year reignited the field, new coach, inclusive playbook, us co-captains. Wins piled, stands chanting dual names. Off-field, Ethan's folks thawed. Mom's visit with pecan pie, Dad's gruff good arm, son. At a scrimmage, Jax appended silent but present. Graduation dawned May bright, diplomas clutched under arching oaks. Post-ceremony, Ethan dropped to knee on the diagram. Ring glinting simple silver. Engraved, every yard. Together. Marry me, Jax. Not for show. For us. Cheers erupted. Strangers hugging. The world bending at last. We said yes. In a small ceremony by the lake, Mom tearful in her best dress, Ethan's sister flower girl. No empires, just vows. Through betrayals and banquets, gold not in digs but in the dig-deep love that spoke up when silence screamed. Years on, coaching youth leagues in Ann Arbor, I tell kids, heart wins titles. Ethan's in law now, fighting for rigs like Dad's. Our home a haven of laughter and late throws in the yard. They called me gold digger once. Now, they call us legends. Life after the ring settled into a rhythm as steady as a well-timed cadence count. But like any good play, it came with its audibles, those curveballs that test if you've truly internalized the film. Ann Arbor embraced us in fits and starts. The local rag ran a fluff piece on Wolverine wedding bells, complete with photos of us cutting cake under fairy lights strung like victory banners. But whispers lingered in the aisles of Zingerman's Deli, side eyes from old boosters at the farmer's market. That's the one, right? The digger. I'd overhear, pretending to inspect heirloom tomatoes while Ethan's hand squeezed mine under the stall, silent signal. We've got this. Our first apartment was a third-floor walk-up on Packard. creaky stairs, and a view of Frat Row that howled on weekends like ghosts of our hidden past. I bartended nights at a dive called the Brown Jug, slinging drafts to alumni reliving glory days, while Ethan clerked at a firm downtown, poring over contracts till his eyes crossed. Mornings, we'd jog the Nichols Arboretum, dew-kissed paths winding through ferns, his laughter echoing when I'd fake a cramp just to steal a kiss against an oak. Cheater, he'd tease, breath puffing white in the chill, but his eyes sparkled with that same fire from orientation. Challenges crept in subtle, like creeping ivy. Ethan's family money was a specter, his trust fund a safety net I eyed warily, insisting on splitting rent from my tips. Equality, babe, I'd say, waving off his offers for upgrades, but it gnawed. Dinner at his parents' estate, silver gleaming on mahogany, Dad's tales of boardroom conquests making my oil rig stories feel like penny dreadfuls. Caldwell Sr. thawed slow, a nod here, a pass the Bordeaux Jacks there, but Mom's hugs lingered longest, her "you're good for him" whispered over garden roses. My own roots tugged harder. Summer trips to Texas meant Mom's kitchen, tortillas snapping on comals, her questions veiled but pointed. He treats you right? No expectations, I'd assure her, chopping onions till tears masked my own. Dad's ghost in every dusty rig photo on the mantel. Coming out to them post-bowl had been a minefield. Mom's rosary beads clicking through stunned silence, Dad's gruff, "As long as you're happy, son." Football taught me, play your heart. But acceptance was a process. Letters from cousins laced with Bible verses. Aunts sending care packages of jerky with notes. Love wins, Mijo? Work amplified the strain. The jug drew rowdy crowds. Wolverine faithful nursing grudges with IPAs. And nights blurred into standoffs. One sticky July eve, a pack of ex-players bellied up, jerseys faded, eyes glassy. "Hey, Goldie!" The ringleader slurred. A lineman built like a fridge. "Heard Caldwell's footing your bills. What's the going rate for a receiver these days?" Laughter brayed. I gripped the rag, knuckles whitening. "Another round on me if you shut it." I shot back, voice level. They backed off, muttering, but the tip jar stayed light. Ethan found me later, slumped on our fire escape, city lights smearing below like wet paint. "Rough one." He slid beside me, pulling me into his side, chin on my crown. I spilled it. The barbs, the bone-deep fatigue of proving worth daily. "Am I, Ethan? Your charity case." The words escaped, raw as road rash. He tilted my chin, eyes fierce under street lamp glow. "You're my equal, my partner, the man who caught that Rose Bowl ball with fractured faith. Don't let them rewrite our script." We pivoted then, channeling hurt into hustle. Ethan pushed for joint sessions at the rec center, yoga for flexibility, not just flexes, while I enrolled in night classes, chasing a sports psych degree. Coaching someday, I'd say, diagramming plays on napkins. Our circle tightened. Tommy, redeemed, crashing poker nights with tales of his own closet odyssey. Sarah, Ethan's sister, plotting double dates with her girlfriend. A lit prof with a laugh like wind chimes. Fall brought football fever anew. Us tailgating from the alumni lot, grill smoke mingling with brats and bravado. I'd man the cooler, Ethan tossing spirals to kids in tiny jerseys. His future QB. Calls drawing cheers. But one game day, under the big house's roar, a banner unfurled. "Rivera? Digger no more?" Planted by trolls, it fluttered mocking till security yanked it. Ethan fumed in the stands, but I waved it off, fuel, not fire. Winter holidays tested truer. His folks hosted, manor aglow with evergreens, lake iced for skating. Dad cornered Ethan by the fire, scotch in hand. "Son, merger talks hinge on image. This lifestyle." Ethan's rebuttal was steel. "My life's not collateral, Dad. Jack's is my merger, permanent." I overheard from the hall, heart swelling, slipping away to the porch where snow hushed the world. Ethan joined, mittens on my hands. "He'll come around, like your folks did." Mine had. Mom FaceTiming from the ranch. Dad's, "Beat the Buckeyes again." Gruff but genuine. But betrayal's shadow loomed in a letter from an old teammate. Anonymous. Knew you'd sell out. Caldwell's Fool's Gold. Ethan burned it in the sink. Flames dancing blue. We're platinum, Jax. Rare and real. Spring bloomed renewal. Our first anniversary. Picnic on the Huron banks. Strawberries tart as memory. He gifted a leather-bound journal. Pages blank for our playbook. I penned the first entry that night. His head on my lap. Chapter 1. The catch that changed everything. Yet drama simmered. Ethan's firm landed a case. Pro bono for migrant workers. Echoing my dad's world. Late nights drafting briefs. He'd crash on the couch. Tie askew. I'd brew coffee strong as West Texas sun. Massaging knots from shoulders bowed under legacy. You're changing the game. I'd murmur, kisses trailing spine. One dawn, verdict one. He swept me into a waltz across the kitchen. Radio crooning Sinatra. To us, underdogs turned MVPs. Summer road trip sealed it. Cross-country drive in my old Focus. Top down. Route 66 dust devils chasing. Stops at diners with neon buzz. Motels with sagging porches. Grand Canyon sunsets painting us ochre. Vegas lights winking conspiratorial. In a Taos adobe, under adobe stars we made love slow. Bodies mapping familiar territories. Whispers of forever. No secrets left, he breathed. Just this. Back home, crisis brewed. My degree loomed. Job offers thin. Coaching gigs wary of the controversy. Ethan's nudge. Apply broad. NFL camps even. But doubt clawed. Then, the call. Harlan, retired, voice gravelly. Rivera, need a position coach for my high school program. Clean slate. It was olive branch, scarred but extended. I took it, commuting to a Detroit suburb, whistle shrill on frostbitten fields. Kids with hungry eyes reminded me of young Jax, raw, reaching. Ethan cheered sidelines, thermos steaming. But tension escalated. A parent meeting turned ugly, Dad's vein throbbing. Don't want that agenda near my boy. Ethan's testimony, calm, cutting, defused it. Agenda? It's excellence. Like your son deserves. Climax crested that fall homecoming clash. Our Wolverines faced rivals. Stands packed, old ghosts lurking. Halftime down 14, locker room thick with funk and fury. I paced, diagramming audibles when Tommy, now assistant, pulled me aside. Heard from Reese Sr. Threats to pull funding if you stay visible. Betrayal redux, but I faced the team. Play for heart, not hate. We've beaten worse. Fourth quarter miracle. Ethan, visiting scout, watched from box as we rallied. My old routes revived in young legs. Final play. Slant to the freshman. Touchdown as time expired. Roar deafened. Hugs crushing. Post-game, Ethan enveloped me. Proud doesn't cover it. Resolution wove gentle. Harlan's program thrived. Invites pouring for clinics. Ethan's partnership beckoned. Family firm folding him in. Jax as consultant, bridging blue-collar worlds. We bought a Craftsman near the stadium, porch swing creaking lullabies. Years layered like championship rings. Kids came, adopted twins, rowdy with receiver dreams. Mom babysat, Dad coached t-ball, Caldwell Sr. doting grandpa with cigars for the boys. Betrayals faded to footnotes, gold digger jeers to cheers. In quiet eves, Ethan's hand in mine, I'd reflect. That banquet shatter? Best fumble ever. For in the debris, we found treasure. Not fortunes, but the profound wealth of two hearts, unmasked and unbreakable. The twins arrived like a trick play no one saw coming. Two boys, Mateo and Luca. For years old, scooped from Detroit's foster churn with eyes wide as end zones and grips fierce on our fingers. Adoption papers signed in a courthouse humming with bureaucracy. But the real ceremony was that first night home. Pizza boxes fortressing the living room floor, cartoons flickering blue on walls we'd painted sky bright. Ethan knelt, tying tiny sneakers with surgeon's precision, while I wrestled Luca into pajamas patterned with footballs. Daddy Jax, he lisped, hugging my neck, and something fundamental shifted, like snapping into perfect coverage, world-aligned. Parenting was our fiercest scrimmage yet. Sleepless nights blurred into dawn drills. Bottles warmed on the stove. Ethan's lullabies off-key but earnest. Whitman's verses traded for Goodnight Moon. Mornings, I'd hoist Mateo onto shoulders for jogs to Carytown. Market stalls bursting apples red as rivalry flags. Luca toddling behind clutching Ethan's pinky. Faster, Papa! They'd chorus, giggles wind-whipped, an arbor awakening around us like a teammate rousing for two-a-days. Challenges stacked like blocking sleds. My coaching gig at Harlan's high school demanded dawn departures, whistle in one hand, diaper bag in the other. Rivera, these kids need your fire, Harlan barked at practice. But his eyes softened on the boys' crayon-scrawled banners waved from bleachers. Ethan's caseload ballooned, defending rig workers against conglomerates, including shadows of his father's empire. Late suppers meant takeout reheated, us tag-teaming baths amid splashes and shampoo mohawks. Betrayal reared subtle now in societal stings. School pickup. Stares from minivan moms. Whispers behind manicured hands. Those the gay dads? Bold choice. Luca, sharp-eared, parroted once. Why they mad, Daddy? Ethan fielded smooth. Some folks fumble feelings. We catching anyway. But it stung, echoes of Banquet shards. We built buffers. Playgroups with rainbow allies. Sarah's barbecues where her wife grilled skewers and stories. Tommy, married now to his college sweetheart. Her knowing wink at our toasts. Coach JV, his Uncle Tom status-earning eye rolls from the boys. He throws like Grandpa. Mateo'd hoot, oblivious to redemptions etched in uncle-nephew high-fives. Summer circuits became ritual. Texas treks to Mom's ranch, dust devils dancing as Dad taught roping. His good form, Luca, like a lasso pass gruff with pride. Caldwell Lake House shimmered next, speedboats slicing foam. Seniors, try not to capsize the legacy. Boys, masking affection in boat cushions tossed like confetti. One eve, fireflies winking over water, he pulled me aside. Thought you'd ruin him, Jax. Prove me wrong every day. His clap on my back landed solid, wind claimed. Fall intensified. Wolverines season tickets in the family section. Boys in Mini-Mays jerseys. Cheers piercing the big house din. But a scout's dinner turned tide. Ethan's old mentor, NFL exec with bourbon breath, cornered us post-meal. Great story, Caldwell's. But coaching, with the optics, stick to law, kid. Ethan's rebuttal iced the air. Optics? It's merit. Jax built champions from scraps you could learn. Rage simmered homeward, boys asleep in boosters. He's right, I muttered, city lights streaking. I'm the liability. Ethan swerved to the arb, parking crooked under familiar oaks. Bullshit. You're the spark. Remember Rose Bowl? Your catch lit the fire. His kiss grounded me, fierce under moonlight, hands rediscovering promises. We're undrafted free agents in this life, hustle wins. Pivot came via podcast invite, Gridiron Gaze, hosted by ex-athletes out and proud. Mic'd in a studio smelling of fresh coffee, we spilled. Banquet blow up, foster fears, fatherhood fumbles. Listeners flooded. Your story saved my kid's hideout, one texted. Offers trickled, youth clinics, speaking gigs at HRC galas. Harlan grumbled but greenlit. Fine, pander. Just win games. Winter wove warmth. Holiday lights festooned the craftsman. Boys elf sabotage, leaving glitter trails. Ethan's folks hosted. Table groaning turkey. Seniors toast slurring sentimental. To family, blood or chosen, it holds. Mom visiting linked arms with his recipes swapped over pie. But Luca's fever spiked Christmas Eve. ER lights harsh as halftime adjustments. Ethan paced linoleum, my hand in his. He's tough, like you. Docs dosed and discharged, but vulnerability lingered. What if we can't protect M from it all? Spring bloomed breakthroughs. Mateo's preschool play, dinosaur dad roaring lines, drew sniffles from tough dads. Luca's first spiral, wobbly but winged, earned Ethan's victory dance. My clinic tour hit Chicago, panel with Billie Jean King. Her love's the ultimate upset, echoing as applause thundered. Climax brewed slow, then stormed. Summer League tryouts. A dad? burly ex-lineman, yanked his son mid-drill. Not learning from that. Meant me. Boys froze, eyes saucer-wide. Ethan surged forward, voice coach calm. Sir, this is about skill. Leave agendas at the door. Standoff stretched, air thick, till the dad deflated. Lost a brother too. Silence. Sorry. Handshake shaky, but bridge built. Fallout rippled. News clip viral. Debates flaring on sports radio. Harlan called. Stirring the pot, Rivera? But enrollment spiked. Kids from closets. Drawn to the gay coach who wins. We leaned in, Ethan scripting a youth manifesto. Field of dreams. Inclusive plays. Resolution rooted deep. Twins turned 6, party balloons bobbing like punts. Tommy officiated piñata wax. Sarah's fireworks spelling Team Rivera Caldwell. That night, boys Abed, we slow danced to Coltrane, porch swing swaying. We did good, Ethan murmured, cheek to mine. From digger to dad, hell of a route. Years accrued like stats. Boys lettered in track, Mateo penning poems of passes, Luca defending like a shutdown corner. Ethan's firm reformed, pro bono arm named for us. Rivera Caldwell Equity League. Senior retired lakeside. Weekly Zooms with grandkids' antics. Mom's diner sold. Her joining us for Thanksgivings. Dad's ghost smiling in every carved turkey. In stadium silences, whistle poised, I'd scan faces. Diverse now, flags waving all colors. Betrayals? Faded fades. We'd spoken up, not just at banquets, but in boardrooms, backyards, bedtime stories. Gold? Nah. We mined hearts, ours, theirs. Yielding a legacy richer than any rush. Adolescence ambushed like an all-out blitz. The twins hitting 12 with growth spurts that outpaced our grocery budget and attitudes sharp as switchblades. Mateo, the poet-receiver, scrawled verses in margins of playbooks, his dark curls mirroring mine, questions probing like corner blitzes. Dad, why do they still stare at the market, like we're exhibits? Luca, the defender, bulked early, jaw set like Ethan's, channeling energy into MMA mats but lashing at home. School sucks. Jerks calling me fairy fighter. 'Cause of you too. Each barb landed glancing, but cumulative, wearing grooves in our resolve. We adapted, playbook expanding. Family meetings over Friday tacos. Mom's recipe, spiced with talks. Stairs are their baggage, boys. We carry crowns. Ethan demoed breathing drills from his anxiety app. Us circling the kitchen island. Inhales sinking like huddle counts. But cracks spidered. Mateo's grades dipped, journal entries veiling crushes on a classmate, boy or girl undecided. What if I'm straight? He whispered one night, bunk creaking under my weight. Then you're perfect, I said, ruffling hair. Love's the constant, labels optional. Luca's outlet turned inward, fist to drywall after a tourney loss, knuckles split. Ethan iced it silent. Then, hit the bag. Not home. We're your corner men. Therapy followed. Sessions in a sunlit office overlooking the Huron. Dr. Patel's nods drawing out the churn. Bullying echoes of our banquet. Identity a turf war. Progress paced slow. Luca's first win dedicated to my dads, who fight fair. Work world's world. My clinic scaled national, TEDx stage in Austin sweating under spots. From gold digger to game changer. Reclaiming the narrative. Applause crashed, but Q&A twisted. Isn't visibility risky for kids? Ethan's text buzzed post-talk. Handled like a vet. Boys say hi, proud. His caseload crested landmark. Suing his old man's conglomerate for worker harms. Courtroom a coliseum. I sat front row. Twins fidgeting beside. Verdict sealing justice. $10 million settlement. Headlines heralding Caldwell versus Caldwell. Sons stand. Betrayal bit fresh from kin. Ethan's cousin. Trust fund lounger. Cornered at a reunion. Ruining the name. Ethan. Gaze and graphs. Dad spun in grave. Senior. Overhearing erupted rare. My grave's empty till I say. Jack's built this family stronger. Exile followed. Invites rescinded. But wound wept. Summer escape. Yellowstone Loop, tent zipped against grisly howls, campfires crackling stories. Boys roasted marshmallows to char, Mateo reciting Frost. Two roads diverged. Luca challenging to rock skips on geysers. One dawn, bison heard thundering past. Ethan laced fingers with mine. Our migration, wild and right. Tears pricked, raw beauty mirroring us. Fall frayed finer. Luca's school dance loomed. Invite from a girl, but crush confessed. Teammate, male. Don't want to disappoint. We coached. Dance with truth, son. He went. With her platonically. Then cornered the boy post-game. Wanna grab shakes? Blush bloomed. First date nerves we toasted with root beer floats. Mateo's arc bent poetic. Crush mutual on the classmate. They, gender fluid, sparked notes in lockers, echoing our napkin era. It's scary exciting, he gushed. We chaperoned arcade hangs, quarters clinking, hearts full witnessing his bloom. Climax crash Thanksgiving. Family feast, tables groaning, when Dad, visiting from Texas, clashed with senior over politics, slurs slipping veiled. Times changing too fast for some. Boys stiffened, Mateo shoving plate. Chaos erupted, chairs scraping, voices volleying. Ethan rose, fork down. Enough, this table's sanctuary. Hate's not hungry. Starve it. Silence blanketed. Then Mom's soft. Pass the yams, poor favor. Bridge mended in pie crumbs. Apologies whispered over coffee. Winter wove wisdom. Holiday lights therapy. Boys stringing strands, Luca admitting, thought I'd be mad like them. But you're home. Mateo's gift. Bound journal, our story sketched. Banquet shatter to starlit vows. Ethan's read aloud, voice cracking. You boys are the sequel. Epic. Spring surged success. Luca's MMA regional gold. Belt hoisted with us in corner. Tears mixing sweat. Mateo's poetry slam. Digger's son. Verses reclaiming slurs as soil for growth. Snaps rippling auditorium. Harlan retired full. Handing reins. Your era, Jax. Led true. Resolution ripened. Twins 13. Bar mitzvah bat mitzvah hybrid. Queer inclusive. Rabbis love thy neighbor. As thyself booming. Vows renewed lakeside. Boys ring bearers. Senior toasting. To legacies rewritten. Mom danced with Dad. Ghosts at peace. Years flowed like halftime waters. Boys navigated high school halls hand in hand with partners. Crushes cycling seasons. Luca pursued kinesio, Mateo journalism, truth tellers both. Ethan's firm global equity funds seeded. My book deal, undefeated. A gay athlete's playbook for life. Bestseller buoyed by voices like ours. In porch swings at dusk, twins' laughter drifting from rooms. Ethan's head on my shoulder. From one voice in chaos to chorus, we harmonized the hurt. Betrayals? Backfield echoes. We'd fronted the line, hearts exposed, yielding symphonies of self. Gold in the grit, forever ours. Maturity mantled the twins like championship capes. 18 now. Seniors striding halls with the swagger of inherited steel, yet vulnerabilities lingering like faded scars on game film. Mateo, bound for Columbia's creative writing, inked chapbooks that dissected desire's dialects, his partner, a non-binary artist with ink-sleeved arms, co-illustrating margins with surreal swirls. Luca, Michigan-bound on a wrestling scholarship, bulked into a gentle giant, coaching pee-wee pads on weekends, his boyfriend, a debate whiz with a quicksilver tongue, sparring verbally over vegan tacos. You raised warriors, Ethan say, pride thickening his voice at their cap and gown fittings, but I'd catch the flicker. Empty nest looming, our duo shrinking to echoes. Life's ledger balanced bold strokes with fine print. Ethan's partnership-crested corner office, skyline views from the Renaissance Tower, but ethics audits nipped. Caldwell, your biases show. Too soft on the underdogs. He'd counter in memos, carbon copied to me. Bias? It's backbone. My clinics franchised. Rivera Resilience Centers dotting Midwest maps. Seminars packing arenas with coaches querying, how'd you flip the script on stigma? Book tours whisked me westward. Hotel nights Ethan bridged with voice notes. Boys aced midterms. Miss your coffee grind. Challenges chiseled character. Family rift reopened when seniors' health dipped. Prostate shadow, chemo's chill. Hospital vigils in sterile hush. Boys rotating bedside tales. Mateo reading Neruda. Luca demoing holds on teddy bears. Fight like dad, he'd urge. Senior script frail but fierce. Like you taught me, Jax, hard over hurt. Remission rang bells, but fragility reframed. Weekly calls, vulnerability voiced. Mateo's milestone cracked open. Coming out essay for apps. Inherit the rainbow. Viral on Teen Vogue. Drawing death threats in DMs. Faceless fury from fringes. Delete it, Luca urged, protective. But Mateo stood. Nah, it's my huddle. We bolstered cybersecurity sweeps, ally networks, Ethan's firm litigating leaks. Luca's parallel. Team hazing unearthed, whispers of soft for his orientation. Captaincy leveraged. He called out, "We're grapplers, not gropers. Shape up." Expulsions followed, unity forged. Betrayal brewed bittersweet from Tommy. Now head coach at a rival high. His kid on Luca's squad. Post-meet handshake turned tense. Heard your boys dodging scouts. Scared of the spotlight like you? Venom veiled as advice, rooted in old envies. Ethan overheard, pulling him aside. Spotlights earned, not envied. Heal your playsheet. Fracture mended months later. Beers at the jug. Toasts to old digs buried. Summer send-off scorched. Road trip redux. Cali Coast in a rented RV. Boys shotgun with partners. Playlists pulsing indie anthems. Yosemite granite gleamed. Luca scaling walls with belay bonds. Mateo sketching Sequoia's sagas. Evenings. Camp stools circled. Esmores sticky. Ethan prompting. What's next chapter? Answers wove wild. Activism arcs. Love's latitudes. Fall unfurled farewells. Move-in day at dorms. Mattress Mac redux. Beds bunked, posters pinned. Hugs lingered curbside. Tears salting goodbyes. Call if the playbook's blank. I choked. Ethan's arm anchored as taillights faded. Empty house. Full hearts. Climax crested solo. Ethan's sabbatical surprise. Cross-country Sabbath. Just us. Backpacking Appalachians. Trails twisted fern-fringed. Packs light. Conversations heavy. Regrets? He'd ask, pausing at overlooks where hawks wheeled. None, I'd affirm, lacing boots by brooks. You? His paws stretched vista-wide. Only not sooner. Summit kiss, windswept. Renewed rings glinting vows voiced to valleys. Through every down, forever up. Winter whispered wisdom. Holidays hybrid. Boys zooming from coasts. Seniors table expanded virtual. Mom's virtual tamales tutorial. Dad's ghost in gingerbread houses. New Year's, empty nest echoing. We slow-cooked gumbo. Jazz lilting. To refills, us. Reloaded. Spring bloomed boomerang. Breaks bringing boys home. Stories spilling like overfilled coolers. Mateo's lit mag acceptance. Luca's pin at Big Tens. Harlan's memorial. Quiet Quaker rite. Drew us reflective. He benched us once. We lapped him in love. Resolution radiated. Twins graduated, diplomas dual, families fused in flights. Mateo's book launch. Digger's legacy. Dedication. To the admirers who spoke. Dads. Luca's draftees. Indie League. Wolverine through and through. Weddings wove soon. Small ceremonies. Us best men trading teary toasts. Decades deepened. Grandkids toddled. Mateo's twins. Luca's defender duo. Porch piled with blocks and balls. Ethan's emeritus. Consulting causes. Mine, legacy leagues nationwide. Senior past peaceful, eulogy Ethan's. He learned late. Love levels all fields. In sunset swings, grandkids squeals symphony. Ethan's whisper. From banquet bus to dynasty. We won the long game. Betrayals? Yellowed clippings. We'd authored epics. Human? Heartfelt. Horizon-bound. Gold digger? Nah. Heart miners. Unearthing empires of empathy. eternally entwined.